We were talking about Hilchos Shabbos. There was a case that came up on Shabbos. I used to say that there are certain people that if I would tell them to breathe, then they would die of suffocation. Okay, they don't want to hear anything. There was I went to a group Shabbos meal Friday night, and it was the host, whoever it was, the guy who went to say Kiddush was getting ready for Kiddush. Everything's all set up and everything. The kids helped set the tables very nicely. It must have been at least 50 people at this meal. There was no challah on the table. He told his grown daughter, go get some challahs and cover them. We need to say Kiddush. So I told him, hey, no, if you don't have challah, just go ahead with the Kiddush. It's better that way. Okay, the only reason you cover the challah is because you made the mistake of bringing it to the table to begin with. What am I talking about? It's a Gemara in Psachim. The Vilna Gaon points this out, and it's based on a Gemara. The Tosfos also say this explicitly, and it's in the Torah. What is it? In the olden days, their table was a tray. They would sit they would lean on these couches. That's the way you're supposed to eat, sages wise. And this was still what people are supposed to do on Passover. They bring the food, okay, the Seder plate and the matzahs with Korban Pesach, of course, on the Seder plate, in the charosis and everything, and the maror. They bring that after the Kiddush. So Tosfos point out that's the way you're supposed to eat all your official meals. First Kiddush, and then bring the food, the bread with the rest of the food. It's not there. The table isn't there. Tosfos says, yeah, but now we use big European tables, which are not trays. The table is what we call an actual table. So people sit around the table. So instead of bringing the table, the food's already there. So what do? We got to cover the challah. And now that we're covering the challah, the bread, and the rest of the food, now we're covering it, we'll come up with after the fact justifications. Oh, this is like the manna that was covered by a layer of dew, for example, right? So there's a line right there in the Torah. It's a paraphrase of the Tosfos there. Basically, if you already have the challah on the table, that's where you're supposed to cover it, implying that. But if you didn't have it, by the way, challah, I keep saying it, that's an inaccuracy. It should just be bread. That's an Ashkenazic Yiddish word for bread you eat on the Sabbath. It comes from the Hebrew for a different reason. But basically, you're supposed to cover your bread at the Sabbath table because you already brought the bread. And as for this, they say, but Yerushalmi says the bread shouldn't be embarrassed. Yes, the way we protect the bread from the embarrassment is keeping it away from the table while we recite the Kiddush. So you brought the bread, now you have to cover it. But if you never brought the bread, you don't have to cover it. And there is no halachic issue that, no, your dafka is supposed to have the bread on the table and covered in order to recite the Kiddush. It's completely backwards. Better that you not bring the bread to the table. Go look it up. Okay.